and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 194 of the It's Obvious podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Preston Pugh, and I am joined by my two best friends, GarrettDrake.
It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be joined by you both again, or for me to be back, I should say.
And Jacob Alka.
Welcome back, Garrett, and I'm happy to be here, joined by both of you.
Yeah, I'm thrilled, man. I missed you terribly, just staring into those crystal blue eyes. I can't get enough of it. I yearn for them. I yearn for your body, yearn for your soul. And I love you to bits, man.
You know Preston's here too, right?
What? Oh, yeah,
Hey.
He's in our ear right now.
Hey,
Preston
yeah,
could not
sorry.
join us in person, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it wasn't due to anything bad happening or anything crazy. I literally slept in, so I apologize.
That's quite all right, man. I'm just happy to be here with you both. I missed you terribly the last 2 weeks. I've never missed 2 weeks in a row before, so that was a record for me.
I had never missed 3 weeks until I went to Colorado. Then I missed 3 weeks.
Was it 3 weeks?
I think
wow.
so. Yeah.
Man, it's good to be reunited, and we're sort of reunited, all three of us. At least our voices are all here.
Yeah.
So, how you guys been? I mean, I have a lot to share on my end, but I'm just curious because I haven't really kept up with you that much, obviously, because we've been so
let's
busy.
hear it, man. If you got so much to say.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
mostly
man,
just
spill the beans.
entertainment related, like games and movies. But the only significant life situation is I have moved out of my parents' house again. I'm on my own in the big city of Atlanta.
Wow.
So I've been moved out for a few weeks now, but yeah, I did that recently. So I'm flying solo. I tried to drag you with me for a long time, but it never quite worked out. But at any point in the future, you want to make it happen, I can always just switch up the lease.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay.
So just let me know.
I'll definitely be in touch then.
Of course.
Because I'm going to be looking to move out here this year for sure.
Beautiful, because you're the best roommate ever. Remember, Preston's like one of the cleanliest people I know now, and it's probably because we harassed him for a year and called him the foul in our previous appointment, and shaped him into this sharp, clean, organized gentleman we know now.
It's
definitely because of us.
Yeah,
I mean, his office alone is one of the most elegant,
anything
beautiful, aesthetically pleasing sights I've ever seen.
Thank you.
So, and
Thank
I
you
believe
very
that's
much.
a testament to us hiding his dirty dishes under his bed for a year.
Dirty dishes under my bed.
Yeah, we used to hide them under your bed, and sometimes we put them just on top of your bed. Zach and I always laugh about the fact that we had this giant ass garbage can in at the front door of our apartment.
Here's the thing that also I never understood is because I went out of my way so much in the apartment to use disposable plates.
Dishes, yeah. We
so
all wound up doing that at one point
Yeah.
because we got
So I
tired
didn't
of
have
doing
dirty dishes.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
But anyway, the garbage can, it was huge, and we were too lazy to take our trash out. And for whatever reason, I guess we kept the lid off or didn't have a lid for the garbage can because it was always overflowing with trash. So we had an open dumpster in our apartment that just completely festered the place, and it was just rank and disgusting. And we didn't realize this because we lived in it. And people would come over and walk in and just get hit with this wave of filth and be like, "What the hell is that smell?" And we'd be like, "What are you talking about?" And we just lived in filth. It was disgusting. We had no idea.
Probably shouldn't tell people this.
It was a gross place we lived in, man. It was disgusting.
But it was the best place.
It was one of the best years of my life. One of my favorite quotes is when Zach and I set up cups in our hallway and we're bowling with like a soccer ball in the apartment, and you just like lean your head around the corner. You're like, "Guys, we're 19 or something like." Or you were 20 at the time. So you were like the old man of the apartment.
Were we that young?
Yeah, we were pretty young. It was 2013.
No, we were older than 21 because I could buy alcohol.
That's right. Okay, it was 2013 is when we were there.
Okay.
Actually, it was 20.
Wait.
Yeah, it was 2013.
Dude, I think I turned 21 while I lived there.
Yeah,
because I got my
guys were 20 years old.
I got my first
time ago.
tattoo when I turned 21, and that we were living there. So
Yeah. I remember that fondly.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, great memories, my friends. But yeah, I'm all on my lonesome now.
I've actually, Jacob, I've gone to Garrett's apartment. I've checked it out, so it shows what type of friend you are. Because I don't think you've been there. Huh?
I was trying to entice Jacob to meet me for lunch this week. I think we're going to do what you and I did. We may go back to Foxboro's when he comes to see me on Thursday if you're interested. If you're going to be in the city, that is. I'm talking directly to you, Preston.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Jacob, which is why I was waiting for him. I was like, man, dude, Jacob's so rude, just ignoring Garrett.
But Jacob's going to come see me, I think, on Thursday. I'm excited.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will. I'll see about that. I should be down there, so I don't see a problem
Sweet.
with that.
Okay. Wouldn't that be special?
Yeah, just three boys on the big town, taking the
that'd be
town
pretty
by
sweet.
storm.
Mm.
So that'd be fun. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. I finished my school quarter. I survived miraculously. That's actually why I missed the last 2 weeks, because I was. What are the dogs doing? They've been barking the entire time we've been doing this. I may have to go down there in a second. But I survived my school quarter. It was so academically demanding, I'd say, with projects that I had physically zero time to do the podcast. It was actually impossible. And I edited my final projects and turned them in. I'm talking within hours of them being due. Wow. So I was cutting it close on all of them, but I got through it all. I prevailed, and I'm on spring break. Plenty to do over spring break, but I am out of school for a week. Nice. Spring break. That's a classic.
No regrets, right?
No regrets ever. So I'm gonna hibernate as much as I can and hopefully squeeze in some video games this week.
Please do.
And regardless,
please squeeze
beyond all of that, it is just great to be here, and I missed you both terribly. But I'm gonna shut up for a bit. I have plenty more to say, but I'll hear from you guys. What's going on?
Preston, what's up with you?
Oh man, just enjoying life. Hanging out, and doing stuff. Like always.
Yeah, that's lit, man. It's litty.
It's pretty lit, dude.
I think lit's gone. I think it's slaps now.
Oh yeah,
that slaps, man.
Dude,
I could be
life slaps right now, bro.
I do like slaps.
Life is just a slapping. Speaking of slapping, you guys heard of the band Theocracy?
No.
So Zach introduced me to this band, this Christian metal band that sounds straight out of the 80s.
Okay.
I'm talking like Iron Maiden, but modern. Pretty gnarly. Playing in Atlanta in May. I think we're gonna go see them.
Okay, dude, that slaps, dude.
Yeah, they slap. That's why I brought that up. So if you're interested in checking out some 80s glam hair metal, that's from 2018.
Send me
check it out.
A link to
I will.
best song.
Dude,
I'm going to send you a link to two of the best songs.
If it's not EDM or trap rap, I ain't even bothering. So don't even bother.
That's what I'm saying, Preston.
I don't even know what those words mean.
Thank you.
I have no idea what those words mean.
We have two people with some class on this thing.
Yeah, you and your Iron Maiden knockoff.
Yeah, dude. What a loser.
I've been in the car with Jacob when he's just jamming out to some EDM flying down the road. Something about that is so awesome. Funny. There's some good EDM, I will admit. I love I like a lot of the mainstream stuff. I like Glitch Mob and The Prodigy. And I listened to DJ Tiesto back in the day. Someone asked me recently, they're like, what's a DJ you actually know of? I was like, DJ Tiesto, and they laughed in my face. Because I guess I know no modern DJs, but Tiesto's from like our high school days.
Speaking of video games, I completely forgot something that I completed in one sitting last week, Jacob. I did this like a week and a half ago, and I completely forgot to talk about it last week. But it was a game.
You got some explaining to do.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that bodes well for the game that I completely forgot that I beat it. But I did enjoy the game, and it was a game on my backlist. I completed Spec Ops: The Line.
Oh, I've heard nothing but phenomenal things about the narrative in that game.
Yes, that is the really good part of the game. The gameplay itself is pretty average, but the narrative is very good. Extremely different than any other game, like war type shooter game I've ever played, for sure. It has to do with the mental aspects of war and like PTSD, stuff like that, with soldiers. There's I think 4 endings depending on choices you make at the end, or maybe a choice that you make throughout the game. But yeah, I don't really want to get in too much detail on the story, because I do recommend you playing it if what I'm saying at all interests you, and you can beat it in one sitting. It's like 5 hours long. It's not a very difficult game. One thing that is interesting is I haven't played a game in a long time where it's just it's like they're trying to be kind of realistic with the kill time, because you can shoot somebody like 1 or 2 times and they're dead, which is just super different than any other game that I've played recently, having to empty at least a few bullets into somebody to kill him. And it's really easy to headshot for some reason, so you're just just mowing down dudes. But I think that's kind of the point of the game, is that you're mowing down guys and not even thinking about it, if you kind of catch my drift.
Let me ask you this, like, how is it easy to headshot people? Like, is it just like, does the cursor like just
it's not that, it's just because they kind of just pop their head out. It's just easy. It's just easy to headshot. They're not really running around too much.
Is the game just easy?
You can die fairly quickly, but if you stay in cover, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
In terms of difficulty. I think I died maybe 2 or 3 times the entire game. And
lol noob.
Yeah, those deaths were just me kind of running around.
Jacob.
No, but I'll have a big noob moment here in a little bit when I talk about Devil May Cry.
I look forward to hearing it.
But like I don't really want to go into too much more detail in terms of the story, but it's a really good game. I got it for free off on Humble Bundle, so I don't know how cheap it is right now. But if you're interested in a really different type of war game that goes into the mental aspects of being a soldier or killing people, etc., I definitely would check it out. It definitely shows its age in, like I said, the gameplay and the level design, especially. Like, it has that 360 PS3 level design where it just looks so barren nowadays. Like, you can clearly see like where the cover is laid out, and there's not a lot of details really on the walls or like furniture. You know what I'm talking about. Definitely shows its age in that way. But besides that, it's a really cool story, and Nolan North voices the protagonist, and he does a really good job. He still got it, man, even back then. Excellent. But yeah, that's pretty much it with Spec Ops: The Line. I give it a thumbs up.
That's cool. Yeah, I have had a moderate interest in playing that at some point, just due to Racevic's video essay he did on the game.
Yeah, I actually watched that essay after I beat the game.
Yeah, because I really like his stuff, and that's what made me want to play it originally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear you dug it, and your approval means the world to me with just about anything. So maybe I'll play it one day.
Great.
Add it to my ever growing backlog that will.
Yeah, I don't know.
Grow
I wouldn't go out of my. There's so much other stuff, but if you have just like you just want to shoot stuff or just play something quick, then definitely check it out. Then,
sure.
Along with that, I beat Devil May Cry this week.
Nice.
We talked about it. Yeah, I actually watched you beat it on stream.
Did you?
Yeah,
well, a clip after. I didn't watch it live.
Are you lurking, Preston?
No, I can't watch it.
Lurking.
I can't watch your stuff live, but I think I know what you're going to talk about in the sense of the final boss fight, because I saw your video was like an hour and a half on the final fight.
Oh, it was more than that. I had to, because I can only stream for 4-hour chunks with my access right now on Facebook, so. Yeah, I couldn't beat it in the 4 hours. Like I didn't do 4 hours of trying it, but
you were
I got
playing on a devil difficulty, right?
Yeah.
I was on human. I didn't die. I think one time the entire.
It's the hardest, like when you first start the game.
Okay,
but you can unlock another difficulty.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually halfway through the game on Son of Sparta mode, and I have not died yet either in that mode. So it doesn't feel too hard, but I do think the game gets way harder, like in the last 4 chapters, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but anyways, yeah, I beat it. It's great. Once you unlock Dante, I think we speculated on this last week, but once you unlock Dante, I think the game just ramps up the amount of things that you can do as Dante, the different weapons that he has. Just kind of switching between all of those in mid combo is just so freaking cool and just makes the combat even more enjoyable.
With me, I don't think I fully grasped like how I should have played Dante.
Okay.
I think I got overwhelmed by just how much you could do as him. Because he has like all these different fighting styles, and he has like 3 different melee weapons. And he has 3 different guns. So it's like I always found myself like trying to switch between everything during fights and like never really just mastering one, I guess. And I don't know, I think it kind of hurt me once I got to the final boss fight.
You can switch between them in mid combo, like you said. But one thing that makes it a little bit easier to comprehend is whereas like Nero and V, they have a lot of combos because, you know, Nero only has the Red Queen and V has the Panther and Griffin. So they have a multiple amount of combos for those things, whereas Dante has like a few amount of combos for each of his weapons.
I feel like Dante didn't have many.
Yeah, well, I think they make up for that with the weapons, and even the Balrog almost has that's almost 2 weapons in one, because if you do your back triangle or back Y, whatever you're on, it switches from like punching to kicking. Which doing the kicking and doing sword mode when you're in the kick and you're doing that breakdance move, rolling around on your back, is so freaking cool. Really, did that a ton just because it looked super awesome.
I actually really like is Balrog the motorcycle, or is that
no,
nunchucks?
Balrog is the fist fighting things.
I didn't use that at all the whole game.
Oh, really?
I didn't like them.
Oh, dude, I loved those. Oh, I loved getting the punch combo up and lighting on fire and then switching to kicking and rolling around on the ground, lighting everything on fire.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah, I didn't use those just because I didn't like how they looked.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I mainly stuck with the Rebellion, I believe it's called, or you eventually get the, well, I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, I mainly stuck with the sword just because it was kind of easy to remember, but I was switching back and forth between everything. Probably my least used weapon was the Cerberus nunchucks.
Yeah. I tried to use those, but I couldn't, like, I don't know, like during the boss fight, they were tough to use.
Yeah.
I needed something like that I had already mastered, just the basic moves. So
For sure.
I did use them a lot on mobs.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I thought the boss fights towards the end of the game were freaking awesome. I thought the story beats were insanely cool. I thought the just ending, like what happens like as you go into the screen at the end was just so freaking awesome with the soundtrack and everything. So cool. I thought the final boss fight was great. There was I think it was a twist, but I thought we were already supposed to know it, so it really didn't hit me too much. So that was fine in the story. I don't want to really get into that, but
yeah, I was kind of surprised by the ending too. I wasn't like expecting what happened to happen. It feels like a Devil May Cry thing that happened, but
yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I'm not going to obviously talk about it.
I was telling Garrett, there is a scene towards the end of the game where you get, I think it's called Dr. Fester's thing, that I thought I was in a fever dream when I watched what was happening. Like it literally, do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so, yeah.
It blew my mind. Like I felt like I was on drugs or something. Like I could not believe what I was watching. And then it just goes away and like nobody talks about it ever again. So
that's why it's so great.
I know it was.
The humor in the game is top notch.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. So, oh man, what else can we talk about? Yeah, I played on human, so it wasn't too difficult. But I have seen. I know you had some problems with the final fight, and I've seen other people that aren't really huge Devil May Cry dudes have some problem with the final boss fight as well. It is definitely hard.
I just kept like making dumb mistakes, and I had no revives. Like, see, here's what happened. So I went into the final boss fight against the final boss with like maybe 2 revive crystals, which are the gold crystals.
I had like 20 something
earlier. Oh,
I have so many.
So yeah, I had 2. I ended up, losing all my lives, and I only had him at like half health my first attempt, and I spent all the rest of my red orbs reviving too, so I was just screwed.
Oh, man.
The only thing that I could do was just retry the fight or go back to another mission and, farm more crystals.
Yeah.
I chose just to redo the fight for like an hour and a half, and I couldn't do it. Like I got so close. Excuse me. I got so close like a few times. Like he would be like a couple hits away from dying.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't do it. Like at the end of his fight, he's like really hard to hit.
Yeah. Were you using Royal Guard mode at all to counter?
I was not.
Oh man, that's how you do it. Yeah, you Royal Guard mode and you like counter attack him when he hits you.
Oh, dang it, man. I just kept jumping around like a dumbass.
Yeah, when he does like when he like spikes at you, you can like counter attack it and then combo him.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like I mean, I had no problem dodging that move, but
yeah,
I'm sure that would have been helpful.
Yeah.
But I eventually had to go back and farm like another mission just to get enough red crystals so I could buy more gold orbs. And I eventually got it right after I reattempted it.
Nice.
But it was regardless, it was still a fun game. Really enjoyed that final boss fight once I got it down. And there was actually another fight after that. I was like, oh my God, there's another fight. But I didn't die on that one, luckily. Yeah. But I was also overpowered I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, great game. I think it has the best soundtrack. One of the best soundtracks I've ever played.
Dude,
heard in a game.
Yeah, Devil Trigger is my jam for sure. That's why
such
I like a cool song. Yeah,
is that the song that plays in the opening? When he's flipping around the van.
I think so.
I think so.
Not.
Opening credits.
I don't even remember.
It's Nero's fight song.
Okay, maybe it is. Maybe
don't you remember the Game Awards? The performance?
No, I have no memory of that, actually.
You gotta watch that.
I've only played the opening mission of Devil May Cry, unfortunately. I've played, that's about all I've played in the last month.
I think this is a game you should finish if you can.
Oh, I will, definitely.
It's really
yeah,
good.
I have to do something very specific this week, which I'm stoked for. But as soon as I wrap that, I'm going to jump back into Devil May Cry.
Yeah. I want to hear your thoughts on it, too.
Of course, I will say I also played the opening tutorial of Anthem, and I was so profoundly bored that I was almost offended.
Yeah, don't go back to it.
Holy, I mean, it was as boring as I always felt it was going to be. I was astounded at how bored I was. So I let that go.
I won't be playing that game for a long time.
No, and I have nothing against it. Like, if people enjoy it, that's great, man. But for whatever reason, that did not even slightly grab me. Not the dialogue, not the lore, not the graphics, not the gameplay. I was like, F this. I even spent like 25 minutes making my armor look cool. And as soon as I did that, I was like, well, I've experienced everything I care about.
You mean changing your paint color?
Yeah.
Because you can't change your armor. There's like
that's what I mean. Yeah, I'd say that was another disappointment. But
Yeah.
again, I'm sure there are some great aspects about that game, but I'm just not even remotely in the mood for a looter shooter, which juxtaposed to that, I hear Division 2 is phenomenal. So that's something I do want to try, like genuinely, because I know I mentioned that in the past. Like, I'm going to try Division 2 and really give it a chance. And I'm glad to hear that everyone who played a lot of Division 1 seems to be incredibly impressed with the sequel and all the changes they made and how they've really evolved that gameplay loop of the looter shooter. Everyone's saying like, oh, they finally nailed like what this game's supposed to be like or what this gameplay is supposed to be like. So that has me excited. So I'm probably going to do what I have to do this week, which I'll talk about next week, Devil May Cry, and then I may join you guys very late in Division 2 and try to play catch up for a while. But
here's my thing with Division 2 before we actually get into it.
Yeah, let's
Maybe I should
finish
save it.
Let's finish Devil May Cry really quick because I have one more question for you.
Sure.
Like I said, and I feel kind of bad critiquing Devil May Cry because I don't play a lot of these type of games where the main goal is to get a score, so I really don't know how to like bring my own critique to it. All I can really say is just the vague, man, this is really cool and it was fun and I really enjoyed the story and the graphics and the music. Like, it's the most like stupid sounding like review of all time, but that's really all I can say because it just is fun to play. So I don't really know how to be like, oh man, like I really enjoy how combo C moves into combo D and how this does this. So that's pretty much all I can say. But I do want to know, I'm playing through it again on Son of Sparta mode, and I'm still really enjoying the game. But I think, and I also think I talked about this last week, me not being able to think about the game in that sense, in a super technical sense, is keeping me from kind of taking the next step to like loving the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I just feel so lost. Like I watch other people play this game, like on Dante Must Die mode, and they're like, I'm beating this boss without getting hit and getting a sexy smoking style like the entire time.
That's your problem right there. You're watching other people that are really good at the game and you're trying to compare yourself.
Because I'm just like, holy crap, like I can't do that. And I feel like that's how you're supposed to play this game. Because I don't think this game isn't like God of War, where the main goal is like, if you're on the hardest difficulty, it does not matter how you beat this boss. You just have to beat this boss. Whereas in this game, that's not the goal, to beat the boss.
Yeah, the whole idea is to look good doing it.
Yeah, it's to beat it with style. So if you're not doing it with style, then I feel like I'm not playing the game. So that it's kind of driving me crazy a little bit because I'm getting through Son of Sparta mode fairly easy, and every now and then I'll get an SSS rank and I'll look really cool, and I feel like I'm doing good. But if I'm not like S ranking every mission, I feel like I just wasted my time playing the game, and that's really bad. And I know that's my own mental problem because I like to, check off the boxes of doing everything, and I know platinuming the game is no chance in hell I guess that was kind of like a pun, that I'll ever ever do that, because the hell in hell mode where you literally, if you get hit 3 times, you have to restart the entire mission. That's madness. So without chasing that platinum either, I think I'm probably done with the game. As much as I thought it was fantastic and I respect the game so much, and I love that Devil May Cry has gone back to its original style and Capcom is just freaking killing it right now. As much as I say all those things, I do think I'm probably, unfortunately, done with the game. I got what I can get out of it, being an extremely
So you're not going to like
fan.
go back and finish your playthrough that you're doing right now?
No, especially with Sekiro coming out and playing The Division. I think my time with Devil May Cry is unfortunately over, but it's kind of just how it has to be. So, but I was going to ask you, do you think you will go back to Devil May Cry, or do you think you have moved on?
Yeah, not a chance. I'm done with the game. I enjoyed my time with it. I got too much other stuff to play.
Yeah. Well, I'm just getting started, boys.
Yeah. And it is like the journey through it is absolutely fantastic.
I'm confident I'm going to fall in love with it, as many people have, just from a new player standpoint, because that opening alone, man, I was like, this was amazing. It's like as soon as I saw the opening credits, that alone had me hooked. So I'm excited.
For sure.
It'll be cool.
I've
also been playing. Okay, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead. I was just going to say I still haven't beat Hollow Knight yet because there's so much stuff, but I'm at the very, very end. And I know I've talked to you off the record about Hollow Knight and how amazing that game is, but I really need to beat that. So
yeah, that's a perfect segue because that's exactly what I was going to say is that I started Hollow Knight.
Oh,
so we're on the same wavelength there. The same. What is it? How would you describe this? It's like everyone's saying it's kind of like a Metroidvania, Dark Souls side scroller. Is that how you describe it?
That's a great description.
All right, because it hasn't hooked me yet. I'm in the first area. I'm hacking and slashing some bugs and exploring and discovering slugs and talking to people. And I got my compass and my map. So now I've been playing it in the midst of working, so I haven't really honed in and like focused on exactly what I'm doing. But so I understand I'm kind of exploring and kind of figuring out things as I go.
Yes.
So it hasn't quite hooked me yet, but I haven't even heard what the game sounds like because I've been listening to obnoxious cover bands for all weekend.
The soundtrack is so good. That's why I was saying that game is so atmospheric just with the soundtrack, and it's just like when I play that game, I just like lose myself in it.
I feel like that's a big part of why I've missed out on a very profound portion of Celeste is that I've heard the soundtrack while not playing it. I've heard it on YouTube, but even while I'm playing it, I have no idea what the game sounds like. Because the only time I have time to play Switch is while I'm at work doing monitors, which is maybe, if I'm lucky, once a week.
Yeah.
So I've been nicking away at Hollow Knight. I'm gonna maybe if I have time this week, I'll sit down and actually play it for a little bit. Yeah,
because that's another thing about Hollow Knight is it's not a level-based side-scrolling game where you can kind of just mindlessly slash everything. Like once you start getting to bosses, they're fairly difficult, and you have to pay attention to where you've been and where you have to go, and if you have an ability to backtrack to get to an area you couldn't previously. Like it's a very involved game, and the map is huge, so you have to pay attention with where you need to go, because it does not tell you until you get to a point where the game tells you there are 3 bosses here, or 3 areas you have to go to. The game does not tell you where to go. You have to figure out everything yourself. So
wow, that's cool. I hopefully I can figure out how to get through it in a reasonable amount of time when I play it. I love the art design of the game though. It looks awesome. So I just wanted to mention I've been playing that. You encouraged me to finally jump in, and I know people have been raving about it for a while, but it's always you, Preston, that pushes me over the edge of playing multiple games. So just like I'm going to do with what were we talking about just earlier?
Spec Ops.
I can't remember what it was. Division, maybe.
What was I going to play again?
Spec Ops.
Spec Ops. That's the one. Yeah. I mean that'll probably be a long time before I play that, but that as well.
How's Persona 5 coming?
I'll get there eventually. Speaking of going back to play games that I've played in the past, I needed a break from editing last week, and I was just going nonstop for like 12 hours. I was like, I have got to just step away for a little bit. So I jumped back into Bloodborne to prepare for Sekiro. Not that they'll even remotely play the same, but obviously it's from Software, and I love the Bloodborne. I've wanted an excuse to go back and play it, so I'm like, why not kind of get a mere taste of From Software's gameplay of Bloodborne? So I went back and played through... I think you start in Yharnam, or is it Old Yharnam? But I made it to the what you call it? What's the something beast at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, the big guy.
Blood-starved beast.
No, it's
I don't remember his name.
Whenever we do the podcast, all names, dates, history just completely vanishes from my mind.
I don't know if I've ever known his name.
I'm not detail oriented on the podcast.
Is it the guy
I made it to the first boss in the bridge. The boss in the bridge.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know. That's the big deer-looking thing.
Yeah. So he killed me, but I made it to him. Just the atmosphere alone, though, was just so awesome. I made an entirely different build at the beginning. I will say, I mean, obviously, I haven't played Sekiro yet, but And I'm hoping I don't feel this way, but one of the things I love about From Software is just the RPG element of making your build and crafting items. Is there crafting in these games? I can't remember. Because I know you can collect materials. I think there's an element of crafting. There's like maybe
you can like upgrade,
yeah, upgrade your armor and your gear and your weapons and kind of choosing your play style as you go about these worlds. But I'm regardless, I'm excited for Sekiro. But that is an aspect I love about From Software, and I was reminded of that while playing through just the opening of Bloodborne.
Yeah,
but that game is so awesome, man. Just I love the atmosphere and just the vibe you get and just that eerie feeling you have the entire time. And I'm still holding out for hopefully a sequel to that at some point.
They got to be working on it.
I hope so. I mean, Sekiro looks outstanding, and just the evolution of gameplay they've put on their style is just really interesting. So I'm looking forward to playing that too. But yeah, Bloodborne was rad this week.
Nice,
just the hour and a half I played.
Yeah, I'm also excited for Sekiro.
I'm about pooping my pants, I'm being honest.
This Friday.
Yeah, very soon. Very soon.
I'm very excited. Speaking of going back in time and playing something, I believe last week I said that I wanted to go back and play Horizon Zero Dawn, and I did do that. I did. I reinstalled it. I had to find my save, download that, reinstall the Frozen Wilds expansion because it required that to have my save because I had stuff from that saved, and I had to figure out how to activate New Game Plus. You have to like save a loadout in the actual game to go into New Game Plus. It was a little complicated, but I figured out how to do it, started up New Game Plus, and holy crap, I felt like I was playing a game at 5 frames per second. I could not get used to it. I played for like 45 minutes and I felt like I was playing in slow motion the entire time.
Does it run at 30?
It does. It runs at 30. But
I think it's a variable frame rate too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yes. I set it on. It was on a resolution mode initially, which that's how I played it originally. But I did set it to performance mode and I could not tell a difference. I know it's something I probably just had to get used to again because when God of War came out, I was going back and forth between PC, and I remember when I would go to God of War, I'd be like, holy crap, this is a little slow. But after like 10 or 15 minutes, I completely forgot and I was good. So I was expecting the same exact thing to happen with Horizon, but 30 minutes went by and it did not. So I probably need to play it a little bit longer. And I'm playing on ultra hard difficulty, which removes any aim assist whatsoever. So that with aiming was just hilarious, dude. Like I felt like I was a 5-year-old trying to play the game. Just absolutely awful. Not the game. I know the game's fantastic and I just need to get used to it, and I know I can because I've played it before. But I used to always think of people complaining about 30 FPS. I was used to think, man, you're so snobby. Like, there's no difference. Like, look at me, I'm playing it. But now I'm in their shoes, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm about to throw up watching this right now. Yeah, I just need to get used to it. I never have that problem with Spider-Man, though. With it being 30 FPS, I could always just jump back into Spider-Man and everything felt fine. So I have no clue.
I think it's also a testament to how mechanically sound that game is too. It's just silky smooth web swinging and well, for the most part running around, but especially web swinging, it feels so smooth.
Yeah. So no clue. Maybe it's like motion blur in Horizon. I don't know. There's something in Horizon that's just throwing me off. Yeah. But
if I remember correctly, I mean, that game felt pretty. I mean, obviously when you're used to playing it at that frame rate and everything, I remember it feeling pretty good. Just pulling your bow and shooting arrows and dodging enemy attacks and everything. But
yeah, and I remember the game is pretty locked at 30. Because Digital Foundry, I remember watching a Digital Foundry video when that game originally came out, and besides like one area in this random house in the big city that you go to in the middle of the map where there's a random frame drop there, for most, the game is solidly locked. So I know that I'm probably not dealing with an issue with it fluctuating a lot. I'm just not used to 30 FPS, which hopefully I get over that big time before Days Gone comes out, because I do not want to feel like I felt playing Horizon with Days Gone. So
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, but like I said,
of which, we might as well talk about that. Or should we talk about that next? Because there's people are like raving about those previews. I know I've been gone for 2 weeks, but I was kind of excited about people being really stoked about those final previews.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Let's talk about The Division really quick while we're just talking about the games that we've played, and then we can talk about that. if you don't mind, sir.
No, that's fine. That's fine with me. I want to hear what you guys have to say about Division.
Yeah, the Division, I remember, call back to last week, Bojangles asked us a question about why are these developers not making these games as service looter shooters? Why aren't they learning from the failures that past games have had, or they had in the past, due to Anthem coming out, having the exact same problems that, you know, every other one has pretty much had. And me and Jacob really couldn't come up with an answer. But I thought about that question as I was playing the Division 2, because the Division 2 did it. Like we finally got a games as a service game that has a lot of content. It runs extremely well. It's super fun to play. I feel like I'm getting good loot, and I have a carrot at the end of the stick that's tugging me along through leveling up and through the story and through missions, etc. Like I feel like that this is the first game like this that actually did it right from the very beginning.
Preston, I do want to say with a little caveat, we are only like halfway through the leveling, right? So we haven't gotten to the
haven't
end
got
game.
to end game yet, but I can say from where I'm at, I've had more fun with the Division than I had ever playing Anthem, and especially through the Division 1. There's so much content in this game as opposed, like Anthem is. I was talking to Jay. We were playing with each other the other night, just playing through some missions in the Division. I blazed through Anthem story mode in like no time. All the side missions, no time, and I was already to the grinding. I already have 15 hours in the Division, and I'm level 15 or 16, and I still have it's going to be 30 something hours of really good. If the rest of the game is like what I've played thus far in terms of the main missions being super fun and in different varied environments that are really interesting, getting cool loot, and even side missions that are essentially mini main missions. You're going to different environments, going through different places and stuff, just like the main missions are, but kind of on a smaller scale. If the rest of the game is like this, then I have a whole nother 15, 16 hours of super fun gameplay, and I haven't even gotten to the dark zone yet. I haven't got to the strongholds yet. I know there are raids. I know there's in-game specializations. Now, I don't know how all that works, but if I just have as much fun as I've had up till this point, just until I get to in-game, then that's still the best games as a service experience that I've had. So
yeah. And the only reason that I said like what I did earlier about like not being at the end game yet is because for me, I really enjoyed Destiny 2's like initial leveling experience. The story like compelled me, and I thought it was a fun loop.
Yeah.
But I do think Division might even do it better than Destiny did in terms of just like there's always something you can go out and do. Also, like when you create your character, it's seamless. You're right in the world. You just walk out the room and you start the game. The loading in this game is like shockingly minimal. Like the only time you load is when you start the game, or when you like fast travel. That's it.
Dude, Garrett. I know. I think the Division 1 did this too, but it's just so insane how you're just in the open world and there's a story quest over here. Like let's say it's in the Space Museum, which is an actual mission and it's freaking awesome. You walk up to it, and you just walk into the Space Museum and you go through this entire mission with like all this stuff going on. And then when it's over, you just walk outside and you just keep going. There's no awesome. Orbiting into anything. Yeah. There's no Anthem loading. Like it's mind blowing how seamless this game is compared to all the other games like this.
Preston, let me ask you what is your gadgets? What are you using?
For the longest time, I used one of the new gadgets called the Hive. It's like a grenade that has these syringes in it, and it can do different things. You can throw it at downed enemies to revive them if you select that option. There's an option that you can throw it out, and if you're in the AoE, it will up your shields. Then I believe there are also offensive abilities as well.
I was using the one that like boosted your like combat efficiency.
Gotcha.
It was like the yellow one.
Gotcha. I pretty much used the armor one for the longest time. If I was in under a lot of fire or crap was going down, I would just double tap the button, which you just sit it next to you.
Yeah.
And I would just boop, sit it right next to me and my armor would go up. I used the stinger for a little bit. I couldn't really grasp how to use that, so I stopped using it. And once I saw everybody on the internet was saying that the turret was OP, I switched to the turret, and it is OP for sure.
Yeah,
so
I went in knowing that the turret was OP, so I picked that first.
Yeah, so that thing is like OP. Melting people.
And I've used both the one that just the regular one and the flamethrower one. They're both really good.
Yeah, I saw the flamethrower one and almost picked that one just because of how cool it looked, but I ended up picking the regular one.
It does look cool. Like if you set it like in front of like 5 enemies walking towards you, they just get melted.
Yeah, for sure. What else did I use? The shield. I used the shield, and the shield is way cooler in this game because
that's my favorite one right now. I love the shield that lets you use your primary weapon. Yes. I'm running an SMG right now. I'm just charging at guys and melting them. That's
so cool. So for the offset, Garrett, how in the first division you would just have a shield that you could only use a pistol with. In Division 2, you have like 4 different shields. You can use a really big shield that covers your entire body and you can only use a pistol, or you can opt for a smaller shield and you can use your primary weapon, or you can opt for a really small shield that will ricochet bullets back. So I think there's even one more as well that I'm forgetting. But
I don't remember.
Yeah, every one of the gadgets just has 4 or 5 different abilities that you can do. And I think there's like 8 or 9 gadgets in total. I'm also using the chem launcher, which they fixed from the beta. Thank God, because it sucked in the beta. Once you shot out a slug or smoke pellet, whatever it was, you had to reload it out of cover. So you're just getting destroyed as you're reloading that thing. But now you can shoot it and go right back into cover. But I'm using the poison gas from that, which helps.
That's the one I unlocked too, yeah.
Man, we're just thinking a lot the same here. But I really enjoy, I'm using that and the turret right now, and I'm really digging it. And a sniper rifle. I didn't really loving my sniper rifles.
I didn't really focus on a lot of like healing abilities, and I wanted to, but I'm playing like alone for the most part right now. So
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't really feel like they were as useful because I never really run out of shields or healing.
Yeah,
it hasn't really been an issue.
Yeah, the hive shield thing definitely helped me a few times, but like you, I thought that I probably would be more just being by myself. More offensive based gadgets would help me out a little more. Yeah.
Did we lose him?
I don't know. Preston, you still there?
Well, we may have to forego Preston for the remainder of the podcast if he doesn't show up.
That'd be sad.
Is it?
Maybe we should try other headphones.
There he is. There he is.
What happened?
You there? First and foremost, this is kind of funny. Eric Andre showed up at Smith's recently to do a stand-up comedy act.
What?
Because they have the secret 1 a.m. comedy show every Saturday at Smith's, and most of the time it's local comedians, and there's like 1 or 2 that are genuinely hilarious, and the vast majority of them are just awful.
Okay.
But this happens every Saturday, and it's known for having celebrity comedians show up every now and then. Eric Andre was there recently. Hannibal Buress has been there twice, I think. A couple other comedians in the past that are pretty significant, but yeah, it was of course the one night where I thought I was going to go shoot some stuff for the Smith's Old Bar documentary I'm working on, but I was so tired the night, like, you know what, I'll just go next week to the comedy show. And the one night I don't go, he shows up, of course. Can you believe that? Sucks. So I didn't get to meet him. Didn't get to see his act.
So have you seen Hannibal? Have you seen him?
I haven't seen him. He's shown up multiple times. I found out Tom Cruise was there not too long ago because he was shooting something in the city. No, we're good. Just I'm going to say chicken, and then you say chicken right after me, and we'll be good. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, chicken.
Chicken.
Great. Okay, we're back.
All right.
It's going to be a bitch of an edit today. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
So
not sure what's going on.
That's all good. So yeah, that was kind of cool. I'm bummed I missed it. Here's kind of a funny one. So I took my second to last English test this quarter, and
ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, ever actually. So this girl next to me had cheated off of me, but I wasn't aware of this at the time. So, and I found out in the funniest way. So, long story short, I have this tradition where if there's a question regarding a certain person's name, like say an author in this case or an artist, if I can't think of the name, I always put Herbie Hancock as a joke from Tommy Boy. He's like, that's Herbie Hancock. That's always what I put as my answer. So I've been doing that all quarter because I can't ever remember the author's names of the books that I haven't been reading. So which is so funny. I have something, this comes full circle at the end. It's so funny. But anyway, So I take this test. I think nothing of it. I put Herbie Hancock again as one of my answers. And at the end of the class, my teacher's like, okay, you're all dismissed, but Garrett and so-and-so, whatever this girl's name's, she's like, I need you to stay after class. So I'm thinking, I'm like, she probably saw my Herbie Hancock and is like, look, you need to take this more seriously.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So she pulls us aside and she goes, the first thing she asks, she's holding both of our tests. And she goes, okay, so who's Herbie Hancock? And then I start bursting out laughing. Like immediately, I'm like, oh, it's a joke from Tommy Boy. So I immediately answer. And she goes, she looks at the other girl. The other girl's like, I don't know. So she goes, okay, Garrett, you're free to go. She's like, I was suspected one of you had cheated off the other. And she's like, you're good to go, Garrett. So she let me go. And the girl had copied all of my answers, including Herbie Hancock as the author of a book that's from like the Middle East.
How
like, what a moron.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, you're an idiot. I didn't say that to her, but internally I'm like, what a fool. Like of all the authors, you got to think Herbie Hancock. There's no way that's correct. So it's funny how that joke like saved my life. Because imagine if I had actually tried to answer and she'd copied me, like how would I prove that I hadn't cheated?
Yeah.
How would she decide?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was so funny.
She might have had to have like filled both of you.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But I'm glad that joke saved my life this time. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it. Actually, I had a similar teacher like several quarters ago as my color theory class. I put Herbie Hancock as like an artist name. He asked me the same thing. He's like, "Who's Herbie Hancock?" I'm like, "Have you seen Tommy Boy?" He's like, "I think so." I was like, "You need to watch it if you haven't seen it."
You should just like lie and make up some like weird story about how great of an artist they are or something or whatever. That's relevant to the question.
But, that was funny. To those who were even remotely interested, you may remember me asking for you to pitch me short film ideas for a while. And I didn't take anyone's ideas. I apologize because some of them were too ambitious for me to complete in the allotted time I had. So I couldn't think of anything until the morning before at 2:30 in the morning, and then I had to shoot at 8 a.m.
Okay.
So I half-assed a story about a girl who was haunted by her ghost sister, and it's kind of meant to be ambiguous and kind of revealed at the end, and it's fine. Like visually, I was pretty proud of it, but story-wise, it kind of sucks. But I got that done. It's kind of cool. I got a good grade on it, which is nice.
Do you want to share it?
I might share it on Discord. I like the one I did earlier this quarter more. It's called Gloom, is the black and white one. It's much more simple, and it didn't have to focus too much on story. It's just more like visually, but I got it done is the point, so that's good.
Congrats.
I'm in the midst of working on a Smith's Old Bar documentary that's been fun to work on. So,
yeah, I saw you release like a
little trailer for it. Yeah, it'll be like I had to do like a school version, which was so frustrating. I had like this battle with my teacher all quarter. She's like one of the grumpiest old women I've ever met in my life. Nothing against old women. I met juxtaposed to that this lady named Rebo as my Uber driver recently. Basically, my grandmother reincarnated. And she told me about Mary Mac's Tea Room in Atlanta. It's like amazing Southern cooking, and she just raved about this place. And then she and I got pumped about Fox Bros and went on and on about Fox Bros. It was like a 25-minute ride because of the traffic. We were just talking about food, and it was great. And then, meanwhile, same lady her age is my documentary teacher at Smith's, SCAD. And for whatever reason, hates my guts. I never in my life, one, had a teacher hate me for no reason, but also just an old lady hate me. So that was weird. But I passed her class barely because she graded so hard. But anyway, the point is I'm working on a version of that documentary outside of class as well. That's like the actual documentary. So it'll cover like the history of the place, the musical aspect, the amazing food, the sports culture there, the history of the building itself and the venue. It's fascinating.
Is this something that they're going to use?
They might. If they want to use it, I'm debating whether I should give it to them or sell it to them because in the end, it's going to be like hundreds of hours of work. So
I think that's something you should.
Maybe I'll pitch I'll sell it to them for like a reasonable price. But it's been an honor. Obviously, working there is a lot of fun. It's just a really unique place, and I've been excited to work on that. So that's what I'm doing outside of just It's Obvious Gaming and school and everything. What's something else I had to share with you guys before we continue? I think that was pretty much it as far as life is concerned. But I've seen a couple movies recently, and I was going to see if you had either seen them or at all. But I've seen Alita Battle Angel. Have you guys seen that?
No. I've heard good things.
That movie was pretty rad, I got to say. Visually, really impressive. So it's weird because the trailers, I feel like, don't even do it justice when you see the movie. Because James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez were going on and on about the technology in this movie is unbelievable. And I'm thinking like, okay, that's a load of BS. It looks like any other generic action movie with way too many visual effects. But what's impressive about it is that the majority of it is visual effects akin to Avatar, for example, and like 98% of it is just gorgeous to look at. It's almost like watching like a animated film, but just like a live action animated film. It's hard to describe. Yeah. But what made me want to see it is that this guy whose YouTube's channel, his name is Mother's Basement. He's a big anime guy, and I actually met him at PAX West a couple years ago. And I found out about his channel by meeting him. And I watch his videos here and there because obviously I'm a very moderate anime fan, but he reviewed Alita and said this is like the first example of like a successful live action adaptation of an anime. And he said if you want anime movies to continue to exist and people to continue to attempt to make these films, you need to go support this movie. So I'm like, well, that's interesting enough for me. And I was just sort of interested by the trailer. So I did a little bit of research to have an idea of what the story was and everything going into it. And then upon seeing the movie, man, I had a great time with it. It's by no means perfect. It has some goofs, and a lot of the dialogue is just straight out of an anime. And seeing that in live action is a little cheesier than like the anime itself. Sure. But at the same time, the action was so awesome. And a lot of the characters were cool. And the only jarring visual effect that threw me off at the end, I won't spoil it, but there's this one character whose the only live action part is his head, and the rest of it is his body is fake. Kind of like Robert Downey Jr.'s head floating on the Iron Man armor a lot of the time. Looks pretty funny. So that was the only jarring moment visually, but everything else in that movie was just gorgeous. So if you haven't seen Alita Battle Angel and you're being slightly interested, I'd recommend seeing it. It was cool. Okay. Other than that, I saw Captain Marvel with Evan Mitchell, my buddy. Okay. It was okay. Yeah. I'm not going to be one of those douchebags. It's like, oh, it sucks and everything's about it's terrible and no one should go see it. Like, I have nothing to comment on like Brie Larson's rhetoric and what she said outside of the movie stuff. I just like ignore all that and just go see the movie for what it is. Yeah. And I will say the strong points were Samuel L. Jackson was pretty good. He was great. Ben Mendelsohn as like the lead Skrull. Scroll, I guess that's how you pronounce it, was fantastic.
What is a scroll?
They're it's hard to explain. You have to go see it. I don't want to spoil it. Okay. They're essentially aliens that can disguise themselves as anything or any living creature, essentially. Okay. So it makes it interesting, not only in the narrative of this movie, but how that may impact the current stance of the MCU. Sure. So I don't know how that'll play out, but they were an interesting. I don't even want to describe exactly what their role is in the movie, but interesting characters to say the least. Brie Larson, I got to say, and I'm not trying again to be that guy that's like adding fuel to the hate fire, but she was pretty boring to me in the movie. Her performance, and I don't even really think it's Brie Larson particularly. I think it's just the writing. I've heard many reviews, and I've heard people that are. I don't think I've heard any review or anyone's necessarily an expert on Captain Marvel specifically, but those who have a general knowledge of her character. Are aware or are stated that she's a pretty stoic, emotionless character. And it's odd because the entire movie is about, it's odd on two fronts. The entire movie, her arc as a character is about controlling her emotions. Like you got to get your emotions under control and then you can really be this superhero, which is funny for two reasons. One, emotion is a big part of a character's arc anyway. I mean, you got to have emotion to make a character interesting. You can't just be this robot the entire time. And on the other hand, it's funny because she's a woman and people always make fun of women characters being portrayed as like too emotional. Even real life people are like women are too emotional, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So it's funny on both hands how this is supposed to be like a feminist statement type of movie, which is fine. Like call it whatever you want, whatever your goal is. I really don't care. I'm just going to have a good time at the movies. But it's funny how on one hand it makes her character boring because they're trying to make her robotic, and on the second hand it's funny because it's supposed to be this feminist movement movie, and at the same time like you're too emotional. So I thought that was just funny for some reason. Yeah. And Brie Larson was just, I think it was the writing, honestly, it was just so boring for some reason. Now there's a couple moments where you can never tell if she's supposed to be stoic and emotionless or spunky, and it just goes back and forth the entire movie. Like what are you? Like what are you trying to be? Who are you? I can never really get into her character. I just saw Brie Larson in like a superhero costume for the majority of the movie, which there were some cool action moments. There were some funny moments. Samuel L. Jackson was excellent. The 90s, it took place in the 90s, but I didn't really ever, other than like the blockbuster stuff and a couple of the soundtrack choices, never really felt like we were in the 90s. Yeah. And there were some funny moments. Like there's a part where like a really old PC's loading like a disk drive or something. And there's a funny bit there. She talks on a payphone a couple of times, which is whatever. And of course, Blockbuster was super nostalgic at the beginning when she crash lands into it. But overall, I'd give it like a C. I'd probably, if I were to rate like Chris Stuckman, I'd probably give it a C.
It's pretty average.
Yeah, very average. I would say it's probably, aside from, I don't know, I feel like I need to rewatch Iron Man 3. I remember not liking Iron Man 3 very much when I first saw it, but people have been going back to watch that and say it's better than you remember.
Yeah, but it's not that bad.
And I'm not saying this again because it's like, oh, the first female-led Marvel movie and Brie Larson sucks. I'm not saying it at all, but I think just overall from storytelling character arcs and just style. Like visually too, it wasn't very spectacular either.
Who directed this?
It was a lady and a man. They co-directed it.
Oh.
So, which is interesting because I think I'll say the positive of this after I kind of conclude this, but I'd say it's probably my least favorite MCU movie because there's just nothing even remotely interesting about it to me.
Worse than Thor 2.
Maybe not. Maybe a little better than Thor 2. And I don't even really think I hated The Dark World.
Yeah.
But I would say those two are probably around the same rank of my least favorite MCU movies. But the reason why I feel that way is because the past few movies, including Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok, and Infinity War, have all been not only narratively but visually just totally diverse and interesting.
You're forgetting Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, that's also one that was a little more average in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I love Paul Rudd, and I liked a lot of Ant-Man too as well. But this just felt very generic to me compared to what we've been getting recently. Yeah. But why I'm excited is because the Russo brothers have seemingly excelled at taking characters that sort of had poor arcs before in their previous movies and making them really awesome. Like I feel like they took Captain America and made him what he is now in the MCU. And Taika Waititi did the same thing with Thor Ragnarok with Thor. Like Thor's completely revolutionized now and like one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
and Ragnarok's probably one of my top favorite Marvel movies. Yeah. It's amazing.
I was kind of like iffy on Thor, like up until Ragnarok. I was like, holy crap.
Like they completely made him like his own unique character now. So Brie Larson was pretty boring in Captain Marvel, but I have a feeling that the Russo brothers, despite that she still looks the same in the most recent Endgame trailer we got, which we can talk about, but I have a feeling they're going to make her just super cool in Endgame.
Gotcha.
So, but she was a pretty gnarly Super Saiyan at the end of this movie.
Nice.
So that was kind of cool. But yeah, Captain Marvel, C from me. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. It's just kind of very average. But Avengers Endgame got the first official trailer. I imagine you guys have seen this trailer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what'd you think?
That was sick.
I'm stoked, man. I cannot believe how excited I am.
I'm kind of like at the point where you guys get when you like don't watch anything for games. Like I've seen what I need to see. I just want to go see the movie. Let's just see it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar feeling I had going to Infinity War. It's like everything's been leading to this moment. This is like the true conclusion of that first big decade of these movies. And launching us into the next phase and next generation of these Marvel films. We have no idea how this is going to end.
What's that going to look like? Like maybe this movie will answer that too.
I know, man. It's crazy. And there's some shots that just already are hitting me in the gut. And you don't even really know what's happening. You have like an idea of what might be happening, but specifically that shot of Captain America like tightening his shield and that look of just like, he looks like he's about to sacrifice himself in this shot. Yeah. I mean, it's very brief, but it looks so epic. And like the stuff of Ant-Man. I love the shot too of Rocket on War Machine's shoulder.
Yeah. How do you like those uniforms they're wearing?
It looks like it's either they're going to space, that or they're time traveling, one of the two.
Oh,
it could be their time traveling suits.
Time traveling suits.
But I think the white, like with them all matching is kind of cool with the Avengers logo on there.
Yeah.
It is funny how they had time to develop their fancy uniforms with the logo on there in the midst of everyone being dead and trying to come up with a game plan.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of times passed because they didn't know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Because like, where is he?
And you can tell time's passing just from Scarlett Johansson's hair alone in the trailer. Yeah. It starts blonde and it grows out red and it kind of looks weird if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But that's one way to show the passing of time is her hair growing. Mm-hmm. And I will say, I think Hawkeye, as badass as he looks in the movie, his hair, that mohawk, man, what the hell were they thinking?
I mean, I don't hate it.
I mean, he looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
But character-wise, I am so... Because the trailer opens with he and his daughter. And I know his daughter, I can't remember her name, but she eventually becomes like Hawkeye, the female version of Hawkeye, essentially. I mean, she's her own character, but it's his daughter, which is
What are the
cool.
odds that she...
My prediction is the movie opens at that scene and she disappears in front of him. And his wife is gone too. And that's why he becomes Ronin in the film. And that's why he probably goes on this tirade of killing people and hunting them down and whatever he's up to. And Scarlett Johansson finds him, which looks like he's in Tokyo. And it's like super emotional when they reunite.
I think it's a crime we never got a movie for him.
Yeah.
I think he does a good Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah, me too. I imagine he'll show up in Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow movie. I think the funniest comment I've seen from this trailer is when... maybe it was the end credits scene I saw leaked on YouTube of when Captain Marvel shows up at the Avengers headquarters. And she's like, "Where's Fury?" And the top comment was Black Widow responding, "Where's my movie?" Which is so funny. But yeah, I love the nostalgic shots of like first Iron Man, first Thor, Captain America, everyone disappearing. I love the color palette too, of like the black and white, the hints of red throughout everything.
Can you imagine how emotional it's going to be like going into like that opening like Marvel like
Oh, I know.
It's gonna be.
I know. Oh gosh.
You're gonna see everyone.
And the Avengers theme is just so epic. I think the most epic moment in MCU history so far is when Thor shows up through the Bifrost at the final battle of Infinity War with Groot and Rocket. That's one of the most epic things I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, then he unleashes havoc.
And I get the feeling Hulk's big return in Endgame is going to be, because you're watching Infinity War and it's like, okay, this is the moment where Hulk's going to come back. There's multiple moments where they could have brought him back, and I think originally they had planned for him to burst out of that Hulk armor, which everyone expected that, but I have the feeling they've reserved it to be even more fantastic in Endgame. So however he comes back, I have a good feeling it's going to be super cool.
I hope they don't wait too long. He needs plenty.
It's going to be at the pivotal moment. I mean, the Russo brothers are total artists. I mean, I know they're just directing these glorified action films at the end of the day, but they are just killing it with these characters, man. And then just the films in general are just so good. So I am just thrilled to see how this ends. Stoked for the trailer. I could talk about it all day, but it's amazing to think that's basically a month away, a little over a month away.
Yeah.
I don't want to yammer too much, Preston. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You see the trailer?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. You saw Infinity War too, didn't you?
I did.
Okay.
That's about the only
You got to
thing
be
that I
somewhat
see.
excited for Endgame, right?
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, I'll
Okay.
see it. I'm not like pooping my pants.
Man, I'm pooping. I'm pooping for Sekiro. I'm pooping for Avengers.
Yeah, I'm
Before
more
we
pooping
like
for
move on to
Sekiro.
anything else,
Mhm.
I feel like we should just mention that James Gunn is back directing.
I was going to mention that
Guardians
next as a segue.
Yeah.
So
We should also probably finish The Division because
I
like-
was thinking about that too.
didn't even talk about it.
is there more to talk about?
I mean, Jacob didn't even get to talk about it, and I was in mid
No,
sentence.
I'm sorry. You guys are welcome to continue. I've just been
talking
I'm
about
just
something.
excited
let's finish our
about.
thoughts on.
I'm
Guardians
excited about
3.
50 things right now.
Yeah.
We have so much news. How are we going to get this done in time, man? I got to
I don't
leave
know.
at 3 at the latest.
Okay. Well, let's.
We can get through it. We can get through it. We'll just.
Okay. So James Gunn's directing Guardians 3. That's great.
He's back,
I'm
yeah,
glad
but he's
they-
also directing Suicide Squad 2. So in the midst of this whole debacle, he is now working for both major superhero studios.
Interesting.
So I guess in the end, everything that happened to him was a good thing.
Who gives him more money to get one done first?
Yeah. So I never really had like a strong opinion about that whole situation, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. But I'm excited because obviously Guardians, the trilogy now will have been his love child, essentially. Like he has poured his heart and soul into these movies. And while Guardians 1 was a great action movie just to establish who the characters were and what the world is like in space, whereas the sequel was very much all about the characters more so than it was even the story.
Yeah.
Now I can't wait to see what he does with the third one. And it's even more interesting to speculate considering all of them are dead for the most part.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of Rocket and Nebula now.
Well, that's a spoiler, but
Yeah. I mean, I imagine by now everyone's seen Infinity War. Forgive me if you haven't. But yeah, going forward, man, I'm very excited. And I'm sure Marvel's excited too, having him back and not having to worry about whose hands that was going to be. And I thought the best reaction to this was Taika Waititi's tweet where he was like, what the hell? I thought I was doing it. That was like the rumor for a while. And he said he wasn't going to do it. But that was the best response.
that's funny.
So, yeah, man, Avengers, I'm pumped. But you guys want to continue talking about Division? I apologize. I can't
We
contribute
probably
to that
should.
discussion.
Yeah. I think I don't even remember what I was saying. I think it was something about the upgrades to the only settlement I have unlocked right now is the theater, and I'm trying to get the castle right now. And I fully upgraded that, which I think doing that only gives you more people to recruit, which unlocks other things like the dark zone and the shooting range.
Mhm.
And I haven't even checked out the dark zone yet. So
Yeah,
I
actually, it's funny. I went like the last thing I did last night before I got off at like 3 a.m. was I went to the dark zone to do that mission, and it's like you don't see. Well, you can see people if you like don't do the mission because I like ran off and died because I was doing random shit. But if you just like stick to the mission, it's just like NPCs and it's just like a brief introduction of how that works, which is pretty much the same as you know last game.
I did that in the beta too. I played that mission to kind of
Gotcha.
introduce yourself to the dark zone, but that's just a whole nother mechanic of this game. And there's PvP too called Conflict.
And there's 3 dark zones.
So I actually played some of the PvP in Conflict, and I don't know if your actual stats affect PvP or if they
Yeah,
normalize
I'm not
it.
sure either. I'm not going
because-
to touch it till later.
I can tell you, I jumped into one match and I just had I would think I was like level 6 or something, and I just had a police M4, and my gun did nothing. Like it literally did nothing. I didn't get even half a kill because yeah, so I'm assuming that your gear matters. At least that's what I'm hoping, because if not, then I have no clue what I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
Because I was like laying into dudes and literally nothing was happening.
So how did it feel like? So you played a match. Like, does it feel good to play like multiplayer and cover based? Like, I know Gears of War is like a big thing.
Yeah, but. I mean it's 4-on-4. Most of the times that I got killed, I was kind of sandwiched in by a team. Mm-hmm. So I think position and stuff is obviously very important.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's Division's cake and butter. Is that a saying? I don't know, but
cake and butter.
Never heard.
I don't know. That's like, positioning is everything in the Division.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Sure,
man. Whatever you say, dude. If you have anything else to add, I'll probably have a lot more to say. Hopefully I'll be level 30 and we'll kind of be in in-game stuff by the next time we talk next week. But
I mean, we definitely need to group up and do some stuff together. But
guys, can I come,
dude? No, Garrett. I mean,
maybe later.
I can help, guys. I can wear like a cool beanie and stuff.
No, in our clan, you actually have to have completed Persona 5 first.
Oh.
Yes. Once you get that done, we'll let you.
All right, give me like 20 years.
Okay.
And I'll join you. Sound good?
I think we'll still be playing. Yeah.
Cool. You know, it's funny. Instead of jumping into Bloodborne, I almost jumped into Persona.
Nice.
But the reason I didn't is because I know I'd really want to continue playing and not stop, and that's dangerous for me. I'm just looking out for my health here.
I'm hoping before. Oh no, I'm not going to say that. Before the end of the summer, I'm going to have played Doom.
Oh, great, man! Yeah, because I mean, Doom Eternal is probably swiftly upon us.
You could just beat it.
Yeah, I could. That's true.
Like, it's not a big deal. It's not like a massive RPG. Like, you just play it and beat it.
Yeah, like right now it's Division 2, probably Sekiro after that, and then maybe.
I can assure you, man, you will not regret it.
It's like we're trying to tell you to play one of the best modern FPSs of this like generation, and like just play it, dude.
It is a damn phenomenal video game, and I'm stoked for Eternal because Mick Gordon released a like behind the scenes photo of the metal choir he's recording for the, I assume Doom Eternal. So
gotcha.
I mean, what else would he be doing it for?
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I've pretty much said all I want to say about the Division 2. I mean, I enjoy some of the music beats when you're in like intense situations and like main story missions. I think some of them are pretty cool.
It's like it's like original Mass Effect-y sometimes, but then it's like a little bit rock other times.
Yeah. It's always like gets me pumped up and makes the situation feel, important or impactful, and it's cool.
For sure.
But yeah, I said earlier that I'm really liking the shield right now, the one where you can shoot your primary weapon. It's just feels really fun to, like, as opposed to just sitting in cover the whole time and taking things slow. You can kind of just run at enemies as long as they're not like yellow health bar. They'll melt your shield instantly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like fun that I'm changing up my play style. I feel like this game has a lot of depth in terms of its like ways you can play it.
Oh, for sure. Have you done a bounty yet?
What is that? Probably not.
Bounty is, I believe, you can get one of them for beating. What are those tasks that you can? That every time you go to a safe house, you kind of unlock 3 tasks that you can do in that area.
You mean the projects?
Maybe it's something. It's like one of those like complete all the activities or get all the shade catches in this area, and you'll donate
that's part of the
3
projects
gloves.
where it gives you like 3 tasks, and once you complete them, you upgrade that place.
Yeah, I think if you. Some of the rewards for that is it gives you a bounty, or I found just a random dude in the world, like an NPC, and he was like, "Hey man, you want this bounty?" So I took it from him, and it highlights a character to go fight in the world, and they are hands down the hardest things I've done in the game thus far. I failed one, and if you fail, it's over. It says like bounty failed. You can't do it again.
That's cool. You'll have to look out for that.
I completed one, and it was very hard. Like, it was a massive fight, and luckily I was next to a safe zone that I had taken over, so I got help from some NPCs to take this guy down, because I don't know if I could have done it by myself. I got some decent rewards, but I thought I'd get something a little bit better because of how hard he was. But anyways, that was pretty cool.
I'm really hoping that the end game of this game has cool weapons like Destiny does. Like, I don't want to run into a situation where I'm at the end game in Anthem. Like, they're the same weapons.
Let me titillate you.
Okay.
then I
Titillate?
don't know.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Let me excite you.
Titulate?
What?
Do it.
Is that the word? Titulate?
Ignore Garrett.
I swear it's
You
titillate.
just talk. I'm gonna look that up
Whatever.
for fun.
Let me titty you.
Wait, whip out my tits.
I got an exotic weapon either through pre-ordering or something. I have no clue how I got it.
Is it that shotgun?
It was the lullaby shotgun. Do you have that?
I have
Dude.
that.
You were right. It's titillate. Stimulate
Yeah.
or excite someone, especially in a sexual way.
Oh.
Yeah, dude.
That's
I know
what we
what
do
I'm
here
talking
every
about.
week.
I know what I'm talking about. But dude, if any of the exotic weapons are like that weapon, then I'm super pumped because I believe that the things that gun does are really cool. Did you use it?
I've used it a little bit. I just stopped using it. I don't know. Like I thought it was fine. I wasn't like blown away by it.
Well, did you see what the special abilities for it were, or did you just
Isn't
use
like
it
one
as
of
a
them like
shotgun?
right when you switch to it, it does more damage, right?
No, right when you switch to it, I think you have a 30 or 40-second period where
Yeah,
if you
like
melee somebody,
when I switch to it, I see that little thing go down.
yeah,
So I know it's
if you melees hit somebody, your armor goes up like a few chunks, and it's like
so here's the
turns
problem. I
blue
don't know
armor.
my melee button. I had
Tab. It's tab.
Oh, I need to
Yeah.
change that.
Yeah, it's a really bad button, but it is tab. And also you can reload by rolling with that gun.
Oh,
So if you roll, you get like 2 slugs back in it.
yeah.
so-
I think the main reason why I didn't like it that much because I don't know. I don't think the shotguns necessarily feel great to use in the game. That's just me.
Yeah. But anyways, besides it even being a shotgun, just those 2 abilities are really cool and there's something different. Like being able to roll and reload, that is helpful with a shotgun because that's a close quarters thing. So if you can roll out of cover and reload at the same time, like that's really freaking cool.
Yeah,
So-
that's a fair shake.
That did
It's just
excite
probably
me to
not
see
using the
what
weapon right.
else they have in store for different weapons, like an LMG that can reload itself, or just kind of stuff like that. I think there could be some really cool some cool ideas for the different types of
I'm
weapons.
pretty sure most of the exotics are going to be like blueprints that you craft. I think that's going to be how you get most of your guns in this game, unless they're drops.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we didn't even talk about the brand system. What do you
Oh,
think
yeah,
about
yeah.
that? That's
think it's
really
cool.
cool.
It's
Yeah,
cool that there's
it-
like gear sets as you're leveling up.
Yeah, so it reminded me of Borderlands, having different types of guns associated with brands. And if you have the same brand across like gloves or holsters or backpacks, etc., depending on how many of those pieces of gear you have, unlock different attributes. Like if you just have one, you get like 10% health. But if you have 2 pieces of gear for the same brand, you do 5% extra damage. And then if you have 3 pieces, you have all 3 of the abilities. I think that adds another layer of depth because I know you can eventually, once you get to Endgame, you can actually craft different types of brands as well. So that's just a whole nother layer of depth in terms of like speccing your dude out. And then also different guns activate different abilities based on, I don't know what they're called, but I know you have a wheel when you bring open your menu, and there's tech, which is yellow, then there's blue, and there's red. I think based on what gear you have raises those levels. And I had this sniper rifle that had a special ability. It was a purple drop that I got that for every body shot you get with the sniper, it multiplies the headshot by like 5% or something. And you can stack it up to 10%. But I had to have level 4 in red. And I only had like level 3. So I had to go find a piece of gear that had like a red block that I didn't have already. I'm not exactly, it's kind of hard to explain, but that's kind of how it works to actually unlock that ability. So there's going to be a lot of, if like a gun you have has an ability that you want, you might actually have to like respec your entire character with different gear to even get that ability. And I also know there's mods for your actual gadgets, but you have to have a certain skill power to even attach those. And I'm not really sure how to raise your skill power yet. I'm sure that might just come with
I got
playing.
one, but I couldn't attach it, so I was confused as to why.
So there's a ton of depth with just mod. You can mod your guns, and I think the mod system on the guns is really cool now because you can actually unlock the through your perks skill, unlock different mods, and then you can also craft them as well, and you just have them across all guns, which I can't remember if it was like that in Division 1 or not.
No, I think they dropped, and you had to like get good rolls on them. So I think a lot of people are like, or I don't know if they're happy or not, but I feel like this is a good change because it's just I feel like there's already enough in the loot pool with all the stuff we've talked about.
Yeah,
But
for sure. But yeah, there's
too much.
There's so much stuff going on in this game, and there's so much content and all this. Like it feels like a fully fleshed out. This feels like what you would expect a game like this to feel like in a year or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think my only complaint so far is that I haven't seen very many people outside of like safe houses. Like I wish there were more people just running around.
You don't see them.
Yeah, that's lame to me.
Yeah,
I wish I saw them.
Yeah, I think you either have to group up with them, see them in a safe house, or in the dark zone, you'll see everybody running around.
Yeah, and I don't think you see anyone in the White House, your base of operations.
Yeah, which it makes sense because how would like starting missions and stuff work, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm not really.
I don't know. It's just something like just me playing Destiny. I like seeing people in the world.
Being a solo player, it doesn't bother me too much. But also Destiny, if you're just in the open environment, you're not going into your main quest and stuff seamlessly. So they don't really have to worry about that.
I guess it was a trade-off.
Yeah, for sure. But
really loving this game. Can't wait to get back to it, and we got to play.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, and the bullet sponginess feels way better. I do not feel like I'm having, besides the elite characters.
Yeah, the only ones that feel spongy are the ones that have high shields. And once you get those shields off, they melt.
Yeah, and it makes sense. They have a ton of armor on, so it's not like you're just unloading 1,000 shots into just like some naked guy running around.
Yeah. Again, we are leveling up, so we don't know like how the end game feels, but I'm sure it feels similar.
Yes. So that's just like you said. So it definitely feels less bullet spongy for now, at least. But anywho, I think that's it. It's awesome. I can't wait for you to get into it, Garrett. Having another game that all of us can like go on a raid again just sounds like a really good time.
And one that is genuinely awesome at that.
Yeah, for sure.
What are you trying to say? Destiny 2 isn't awesome?
Get that out of here, Jacob.
Yeah, you're right.
God bless them for being on their own, but Lord be with them as well.
I hope they can pull it out.
Yeah, me too.
That's probably it for games. If you're finally ready to get into the news, Garrett.
Let's.
This is the It's Obvious podcast, the show where my two best friends and I get together every single week to discuss video games. Obviously, you can find all of our content, including the video version of this podcast, over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. If YouTube is not good for you, or you'd like to take us on the go, you can find this podcast weekly on Apple Podcast, Google Play, Audio Boom, Spotify, and other podcasting services. Please check the description down below for links to our social media pages, our Discord channel, our Steam names, Origin names, Uplay names, pretty much everything you would ever need to get in contact with us. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and be sure to like and comment down below to get involved with the It's Obvious community. Doing so helps us out tremendously, and we would forever be in your debt. But with all that out of the way, hey man, what's the news?
That's got to be one of our longest intros of all time.
Why do we wait so long to say the intro?
Well, I mean, we've had this discussion in the past. Well, maybe we should just open with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we should.
Dude, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Okay, maybe next week we'll experiment having the the intro at the beginning and then go from there.
Yeah.
I don't
Typically,
want to throw
it doesn't
off
take that long to get
though.
into, but
we've been all over the place today. It's the first time we've all been back. You know?
Yeah. We're just working out the kinks here. We'll be back on track soon. But we're going to have to cram the rest of this episode because I got to leave very soon, unfortunately.
Let's do it, man.
So I'm going to drop some of the more irrelevant news stories that I included for fun because we haven't been together in a while. But I'll include the ones that I feel like are relevant and exciting to talk about. So Apex Legends, last I checked, was at 50 million players. I imagine they've grown even more since then.
Yeah, I mean, that's the last they updated us on.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Oh my gosh. And that's awesome, even more so for the fact it being that it's Respawn. So good for them. I'm glad they're getting the recognition that I always believe they deserve. And Apex is killing it, man. I have not played at all.
That sucks.
And I think the second week it was out was the last time I played.
I've been playing a lot up until this week when I was playing a lot of Devil May Cry and Division now.
Yeah.
But they just added jump pads into the game.
Yeah, I was
going
to
to
have you tell me about that.
Basically, it's been like leaked that Octane, the new character that's coming out with the Battle Pass, is going to have jump pads as their ultimate.
Yeah.
And I think they just kind of put them around Market to test them out maybe in the live game. So if you go to Market, which is like that little place where it's a market, obviously. It's in the middle of the map, I think. Or maybe towards the south a little bit, but it's just, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 around the building. So you can go there, jump on them if you want. But people are speculating that the Battle Pass was supposed to be out like late last week, but they pulled it for reasons, like something having to do with like free credits or something people were getting, or it could have been any number of reasons. But now people are saying that they're thinking it's going to be this week. Hopefully, I mean it's got to come out in March. They said March, but a lot of people are pointing towards Monday night or Tuesday. So if that's the case, then God, I don't know when I'm going to have time to play all these games because I want to play the Battle Pass really bad.
I'm excited to play that some more too. I haven't played in a long time, and it's a good time.
We haven't played anything in a long time, Garrett.
We haven't. Speaking of Battle Royale, Battlefield 5's Firestorm trailer was released, and some of the best comments I saw said, man, Farm Simulator took a really dark turn. So I have a feeling this is going to be a dud. I hate to say it. People will play it, of course. I'm sure it'll be kind of cool, especially with the destruction and vehicles and then scale of Battlefield. But I think it looks like it's not bringing anything unique to the table as Apex Legends did with its heroes.
It has its destruction, Legends, right? It's Battlefield. That's unique.
Yeah, but aside from that, like what really is going for it? I mean, the trailer, I like the trailer. I mean, it was very much like watching a cinematic version of a Battle Royale match play out. I love the beginning how the two squads land next to each other and stare at each other.
I mean, the problem is like people are just wanting to play this mode, but you have to purchase Battlefield 5 to play it. It has the same problem that Call of Duty has.
Yep. Like, unless EA's like, well, let's just release another standalone free Battle Royale.
Yeah, which I think like Call of Duty and Battlefield might have to do, like if they want to compete with Apex and Fortnite.
Obviously. I mean, the good thing for EA's sake is that they have both Apex and Firestorm. So,
yeah. But did they cannibalize their own product?
Right.
Firestorm.
Yeah. I feel like Anthem and Firestorm are going to suffer because of Apex a bit.
I don't think Firestorm. I mean, I don't mean to sound like this, but I don't know if it was ever going to be successful with how Battlefield 5 launched.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
So I don't know if people were willing to give it a chance, unless this mode is just like incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I have Battlefield 5. I'll try it, of course. I want it to be awesome, but I can't. From the cinematic trailer alone, it doesn't really seem to be promoting anything I'm kind of outside of the ordinary for Battle Royale.
I want to see, like, I'll watch people play it. I doubt that I'm going to invest myself.
But it is coming. I think originally it was supposed to be out in February, and they obviously delayed it and probably just stayed quiet about it. And,
I think it's coming out the end of this
I thought they'd given up on it, but yeah, it's coming out relatively soon, I believe.
I know they set a release date, but I don't have it in front of me.
Speaking of Sekiro, a couple things about Sekiro. You guys get a look at that special edition PS4 Pro for the game.
Yeah.
That is one of the most badass things I've ever seen.
I wish I could have it.
That is one PS4 I'd be fine with committing a singular game to it because it looked that beautiful.
I think it's only coming out in like Switzerland or something.
Switzerland.
Somewhere weird.
Man, I would. If someone gave me one, I'd be really happy about it. I'm not going to buy one, but it looks great. While we're on the subject of Sekiro, Jacob Walters writes in and says, "Hello, gentlemen. I'm in a predicament and I can only buy one game this month. So it's between Devil May Cry 5 and Sekiro. I've played a little DMC4, but I'm not even close to being a fan. I really want to play through it. On the other hand, I've never finished a Souls game before, but I really like the boss battles that Sekiro has shown. I want to fight the giant snake. So please help me out. Which one should I get? Thanks, you wonderful, confident women. Keep up the good work. Peace."
So is he saying he's not a fan of Devil May Cry or just the fourth installment?
The fourth installment,
the fourth was, well, actually 2 was the bad one, not 4.
Yeah, but I think maybe he means in general just Devil May Cry he's not necessarily a fan. Like, for example, I wouldn't call myself a fan of Devil May Cry, but I really want to play Devil May Cry 5.
Sure. Okay.
So
that's a hard question to answer.
That is very hard. I mean, obviously they're both focused primarily on combat for the most part. But it really depends on your mood. If you want like a wacky, doesn't take itself too seriously action game that's purely about, like you guys have been talking about, style and combat, then try Devil May Cry. And obviously you've dabbled in Devil May Cry 4. You've played Souls games but haven't finished them. Sekiro, what I think is exciting about it is that while it does possess the DNA of From Software's formula for their Souls games and Bloodborne, Soulsborne as people describe it now.
I'm willing to bet
it is also very much an evolution of that gameplay. There's heavier emphasis on stealth. There's traversal. There's all these additional weapons you have with your shinobi prosthetic arm. You have the singular katana the entire game, and the game's combat is not even stamina based anymore. It's about breaking your enemy's stance and giving them a death blow to kill them. So and there's more to it than that. But if you're more interested in like the world building through, like the storytelling through the world itself in Sekiro, and like the ancient Japanese setting, And the bosses, like you mentioned, I'd say Sekiro. I'm more excited to get into Sekiro than I am to finish Devil May Cry. And that's not a knock against Devil May Cry. I just have more experience with Soulsborne games. So that's why I'm excited. But that's my personal suggestion, is to go with Sekiro in this one.
Well, it's two different gameplay loops, right? Like Sekiro is going to be probably a pretty hard game with a pretty extensive, like, boss run and a pretty extensive world for a Souls game. I'm willing to bet. But Devil May Cry's whole thing is you play it till you're fucking awesome at the game, and it's just really satisfying. You enjoy that loop of the combat.
And to an extent, you can also get really good at Souls games when you really master the combat there. And this is like a whole new frontier for combat in From Software's games. Yeah. So
I'm not necessarily going to say like which one you should go for, but if it was me, like I would probably pick Sekiro, just because I'm not one for like replaying levels just to get really good at a game necessarily. It's not really my cup of tea anymore. I'm more of just like want to play through a game, then move on to the next one, or just go back to the multiplayer that I'm playing.
Preston, does your opinion align with ours?
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of just like I talked about it when I was talking about DMC earlier. Is I just like to play a game where the goal is to just get through the game and beat it, as opposed to play it multiple times to just get a higher score.
Yeah. So I'm guessing if we're all going to say Sekiro, I guess.
Go for it. That's what I'm playing.
And if he didn't he said he did not like Devil May Cry 4.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then
I don't know if he said he really didn't like it. He just said did he say that? Let me see.
I think he said he didn't like Devil.
I lost it. But we've all said Sekiro.
Like, he didn't say he didn't like the series. He just said he didn't like 4 that much, I think.
Okay. Anyway. I know 4, like I said, it had backtracking, and Devil May Cry stripped a lot of the fat. There's no puzzle solving or anything. So if you just like the combat of Devil May Cry and want a cool story, then go for it. I don't know. Devil May Cry would be like a good game to rent or Redbox.
Yeah. Or if you don't have like a lot of time to play games, it's not too long. If you just
or wait for a deep sale or something.
So we lost Preston again? No. What is that? Is that like the battery?
Yeah, it just warned you.
Okay.
I think it goes 50
we nearing
25,
the end here?
And then it's out.
Okay. We'll see how much longer we can last.
We have backup headphones too.
Okay, cool. I should have said this when I talked about Apex and Respawn, but Jedi Fallen Order script has been finished by Mr. Chris Avallone, writer of Fallout 2, Planetscape, Torment, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, and tons more. That's exciting because people rave about the stories in Fallout New Vegas, and this guy has quite the track record, and I have a good feeling that Jedi Fallen Order is not only going to be excellent on the story front, but also in gameplay.
Sorry if we're repeating a bunch of stuff we've said the past 2 weeks. Because
you said that?
Oh, yeah, we talked about all of this.
We didn't get to talk about notes, I guess, either. I'm skipping most of the stuff anyway. You guys talk about the One Punch Man premiere?
No,
not that.
Okay, well, that's premiering on Hulu April 9th. I'm stoked.
I'm stoked for that. Jacob still hasn't watched the first season, so you should probably do that.
Yeah,
you should probably do that. It's one of the best anime
I promised Kyle Bojangles that I would start Rising of the Shield Hero.
F that, Jacob.
No, I'm a man of my freaking word. I'm going to give that episode.
Well, you started, but then you watch the first episode and then watch all of season 1 of One Punch Man. I guarantee you're going to be addicted to it.
Yeah? You think I'll like One Punch Man more?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Okay.
I know you, Jacob.
I'm interested to hear what Kyle says after this.
Okay. No offense, Kyle. But you do need to see it before at least the premiere of season 2.
I told Jacob that exact same thing last week, that I know he would love One Punch Man. Like, I know what he likes. And
guys, it's hard for me to commit to things, okay?
Jacob, you're gonna
it's like
love
10 episodes, Jacob.
That's a big commitment.
I got
No, it's not. You sit
like
down and eat your food, and you have to watch something.
But then I'm not watching YouTube anymore. I'm not watching streams.
No, dude, just watch One Punch Man.
One of the bigger news stories of the week is that Master Chief Collection is officially coming to PC, and Halo Reach is included. And Reach is actually the first game they're releasing. I think they're going to come out periodically over time on PC, but they're going to support it fully with all the PC support you could ever imagine in terms of adjusting, your FOV and variable frame rates and blah 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 blah. Support 100% PC. It's coming. I would go into more detail. Obviously, I'm very excited. I have Master Chief Collection on Xbox, but I've wanted to play Halo on PC for a while, and now that it's going to exist, and I can only imagine that not only the 343 support for Master Chief Collection, but the community support as well is going to be pretty profound. Yeah. So this is like incredible for not only 343 and Halo, but going into Halo Infinite. I feel like Halo could be having sort of a renaissance again and kind of becoming significant again, which is great.
Is this a transition for Halo esports to be on PC?
Possibly.
You think that would happen?
That could very much be the case. We'll see. But
Halo
so
Infinite
excited.
on PC?
What do you think like
Halo Infinite is coming to PC.
Yeah.
Do you think like what are they gonna do in Infinite? Like I know you don't know, but like what do you want to see?
If we had time to speculate, I would. But the
Sorry.
latest question was actually, I think we have one about. Let me go ahead and include this while we're here. Fribes writes in. It says, "Hi friends. So people on Twitter are asking for BR and Halo Master Chief Collection." And replies to those tweets are along the lines of, fuck no, please don't taint the series with BR, blah, blah, blah. What do you guys have against BR modes being included in any game, let alone Halo? My take, y'all don't like BR mode? Don't play it. Why would another game mode ruin your experience with other game modes? Maybe I'm missing something or some opinion here. Something along the lines of pandering to BR modes takes focus away from fixing bugs or running servers from other online game modes. Anyone else here want to weigh in? Y'all have been asked several times about BR modes. I think it's here to stay. And that will be as ubiquitous as Team Deathmatch, or will be as ubiquitous as Team Deathmatch and FPS is going forward. This is less so a question per se and more of a please discuss this niche outrage among BR haters and what y'all think it means for the future of the industry. My hot take is I would love BR mode in Halo. I think Halo, like Battlefield in many ways, its gameplay totally caters to Battle Royale, including just think about the shields alone in Halo, how the health system works, where you take down someone's shields and then you finish them off. I think that totally works within the confines of combat within a Battle Royale where you don't die too quickly. In Apex Legends, PUBG, Fortnite, there's shields in all of this. So Halo already naturally has that included.
Sure.
You already can think about the various weapons, the vehicles, overshields, invisibility. I don't know if they'd include that, but any aspect of Halo's gear, its map design, and its gameplay alone, I think totally caters to Battle Royale. And I think that Bonnie Ross sort of nonchalantly hinted that they are, at the very least, considering that for Halo Infinite. I doubt we'll see it in Master Chief Collection, but I could see it being a big part of Infinite's release, especially.
Preston, are you still there? I don't know if I can hear you.
Cool. I mean, I've never been opposed to BR modes at all. I love them, so.
I can't hear Preston. I think
not at all.
Died.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to? Well, what are we gonna do about this?
I'm gonna switch up our.
You have a wired one?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We're gonna switch over headphones in a second. While you're doing that, Jacob, I'm gonna read about. Oh, we already kind of talked about Days Gone previews. All I had to say was I'm excited that people are excited for it, and that a lot of people have said you will be surprised at how impressive it is. That's cool.
I heard like the the buzzing that you hear in like when you're on the phone.
Yep.
I stopped hearing that.
Cool.
So.
All right, let's switch over.
We're gonna have to.
Look at this.
Oh God.
Oh no. You there, Preston?
I don't know if this is gonna work.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we'll just have to suck it up for this. I'm gonna have to move this mic. 1 sec. Okay.
All right.
This is not ideal. But we got to do what we got to do here. I'm sorry we're having to blaze through these notes too. We started extremely late and I got to go to work. I'm already going to be late. Hopefully I'm not fired. EA is not hosting a press conference at E3 this year, but EA Play will remain and fans and media alike can attend EA Play and get their hands on their games. Maybe they'll release some sort of video if they have any new announcements whatsoever. I mean, honestly, E3 is probably going to become that at some point anyway, unfortunately, which really bums me out. But courtesy and blessings of Ka Connected, I am very fortunate to say that I will be attending E3 once again this year. But it's going to be a weird year because EA will not have a presser. Sony's going to be a no-show. So what is it going to be like? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see.
They'll probably continue with their whole influencer like marketing that they pushed like when they did Battlefront 2. You remember like they had that huge they invited all those people out and they were all playing the game at the same time, which is I think it was a disaster when they tried to do it, but. They'll probably do something similar like that because I think they said they're going to do several live streams and they're just going to display like all their games and whatnot. Did you say this already?
No.
Okay.
I'm laughing about this situation. It's not like technically ideal, but I got to say I'm loving how intimate this feels.
Is great. I love being next to you.
This is the closest I've been to you on the podcast in a while since we were in my parents' closet. Mm-hmm. And that out of context could really spin some heads. So don't fly off the side of the road imagining Jacob and I in a closet together.
Speaking of which, that was one of the first episodes that my boss at work watched.
Oh, really?
So he saw that and he
was
like,
our podcast, man. What the hell are you doing? Gearbox has seemingly teased Borderlands 3's reveal on March 28th at PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts. Speaking of which, let me find, and I'm having to look at this weird angle at our questions here. Wham Blam writes in and says, "Hey, sexy chimp. So I assume you guys have heard about Borderlands 3 supposedly getting an announcement at PAX on March 28th. If so, what are y'all's hopes for gameplay, loot, characters, exploration, etc.? Also, do you think they will make it a direct sequel to Borderlands 2, or will it be in the same world, just a different area with all new characters and NPCs? I'm not a hardcore Borderlands fan, so I'd like to say that I hope that they learn from games that have been inspired by Borderlands itself since Borderlands 2 came out. I'd like to see them sort of evolve their own formula. Obviously, I hope the art style, I imagine, will remain. But as far as it being a looter shooter, I don't really know, as a moderate Borderlands fan, what they could do outside of just evolving on what they've already established and learning from the mistakes of other developers that have attempted their formula and either failed or struggled.
Can inform us on this, 'cause I
want this to turn into a games as service game. I want this.
Oh
to
yeah,
still
definitely
be
not. I'd prefer that not to be the case.
Borderlands type. I want it to be a direct sequel, just like 2 was to 1, with the characters from 1 were in it. You don't play as them, but they're a part of the story. I would like for it to be kind of the same thing, maybe just like a bigger world, maybe more people can play, more classes to choose from. I know that the second one added a lot with DLC, so maybe this one could come with just a lot more from the start, and more than 4 people could play with each other. Bigger raids and bigger events kind of like happening in the world would be pretty cool. But I kind of just want it to be Borderlands, really. I don't want it to really change its identity or anything. So.
But at the end of the day, will you be disappointed if it's just more Borderlands? We don't want it to be just more Borderlands, right?
I want it to be Borderlands, but don't want it to be like a 2.5. I just don't want it to. I guess the biggest thing is I don't want it to become some massive online only Destiny version of Borderlands.
Yeah,
that's pretty much my biggest thing. So
as a casual fan, I'm going to say what's incredibly difficult to achieve, but many developers have done it, is fresh but familiar. I know that's a very general statement, but it is possible to be both fresh and familiar, I'd say.
For sure.
So,
that's what I strive to be.
That's my cop-out answer for the day. But I'm excited about it. I've enjoyed it in the past, and Preston and I played locally. Remember when we set up those 2 TVs and played together at your old house?
Oh yeah, that was the biggest TV ever. We had to haul up to my room.
Yeah, that was so heavy. That could have killed us.
What if in Borderlands 3, every character that's been in 1 and 2 and like a ton extra are in it, and
they're all back?
Yeah. Well, Handsome Jack from the community, man. We hope you're included.
Yeah.
Anything else to add about Borderlands?
I don't think so.
I have no opinions because I've never played
Borderlands Ultimate.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this: is No Man's Sky out of sight, out of mind for both of you?
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
Did you see that update?
I'm interested in all these updates.
Let me fix this.
But not going to play them.
Felt good. You're not going to play Preston?
Cool. I'm not going to play it, but I really respect Hello Games, and I do think the updates look cool.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I'm excited for people that are fans of the game, and Sean Murray, man, is a warrior for continuing on in the midst of everything he's been through. And obviously, they've had a really great rebirth recently that I dabbled in for a little bit. And No Man's Sky Beyond is coming summer 2019, and beginning with No Man's Sky Online. And a quote from Sean Murray says, "No Man's Sky Online includes a radical new social and multiplayer experience which empowers players anywhere in the universe to meet and play together. While this brings people together like never before, it has many recognizable online elements. We don't consider No Man's Sky to be an MMO. It won't require a subscription, won't contain microtransactions, and will be free for all existing players." That's from Mr. Murray himself. So, fans of the game, happy for you. I hope you enjoy it. I will not be participating. I will probably be too busy to play anything. No, I won't make fun of it. But I've seen people excited about it. We have some killer stuff out right now. We have some pretty killer stuff on the horizon. I hate to say it, guys, but that's got. I'll do one more community question. I got like 3 minutes I can do.
Okay. Last question.
So this is community questions. Let me include this because it's short. Glowstone writes in and says, "What's your Minecraft block? Which Minecraft block is your spiritual companion?" I'm going to say Glowstone, obviously, but in reality, what's the black stone? It's like onyx or something.
I think so.
Obsidian.
Obsidian. That's my spiritual companion.
I'm going to go with the block that gets me out of the game the quickest, which would be the lava.
Okay. So. Clever, my friend. Touche.
I'll do a dirt block because I'm dirty.
You're the foul. Yeah, I'm a dirty old foul man.
Yeah.
It looks like all of these are better catered to either the next episode or an Ask IOG episode.
Okay.
So we're gonna cut it off there. But gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Preston, I'll let you sign us out here.
absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everybody, each and every week. Please subscribe to us on the Apple Podcasting app and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. Check our Discord. Just check the links to all our social media pages down below. Just check the description. You'll see everything you would ever need. And please support us in any way you can. We greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Love you all to bits. I'm so happy to be back. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, thank you guys
Bye-bye.
for watching.
Bye.